Welcome back. It's Friday, and that means it's time for our Top 4 in 4 segment, where I count down the top 4 headlines of the week in 4 minutes. Let's begin. First up, headline number 4. What was supposed to be a family vacation full of magic turned into a night of tragedy in Florida. The story still shocking. A child killed by an alligator at Walt Disney World. A Florida sheriff says charges are unlikely against the parents whose 2-year-old son was killed by an alligator at the resort. Orange County Sheriff Jerry Demings tells the Associated Press there was no indication Will and Melissa Graves of suburban Omaha, Nebraska, committed any crime that contributed to the reptile grabbing their son, Lane Graves. Demings says his department and the State Wildlife Agency would look into the issue of signs around Seven Seas Lagoon, where Disney had posted no swimming signs but no warnings about alligators. Authorities say the boy waded into no more than 1 or 2 feet of water in the lagoon around nightfall Tuesday when he was taken from a small beach. The boy's father desperately tried to fight off the gator but could not save his son. Up next, the headline that rocked the country this week, coming in at number 3, the shooting massacre in Orlando. Here's the latest on that investigation. The owner of a gun shop in Florida says the gunman in the Orlando nightclub shootings came to his shop to buy body armor and 1,000 rounds of ammunition about 5 weeks before the rampage. Robert A. Bell, co-owner of Lotus Gunworks in Jensen Beach, says the shop declined the sale because the customer raised suspicions by requesting a high grade of body armor typically used by law enforcement. Abel says the young man left empty-handed and that the shop alerted the FBI, but since no sale was made, the shop did not check the man's ID and had no name to give authorities. Abel says store staff realized the customer was nightclub shooter Omar Mateen only after seeing reports about the carnage in Orlando. Yesterday, President Obama met with families of those shot and killed early Sunday morning at the gay nightclub in Orlando. Our second headline of the week, we're getting another view of what Americans think regarding the mass shooting in Orlando, their views on politics and gun control. According to a CBS News survey, Americans give the president net positive ratings on his response to the Orlando attack. More than half, or 51%, disapprove of presidential candidate Donald Trump's response and are split in their opinions in how Hillary Clinton has handled the situation. 57% of Americans describe the shooting over the weekend at the nightclub in Orlando as both an act of terrorism and a hate crime against gays and lesbians. 14% think it was mostly a terror act, while 25% think it was mostly a hate crime. In addition to terrorism, the issue of gun policy is being debated in the aftermath of the Orlando massacre. 57% of Americans think gun laws should be more strict, similar to views held earlier this year. There continues to be stark differences by political party. Most Democrats, 79%, want gun laws to be more strict. Only 36% of Republicans think that. And finally, our number 1 headline centers around fathers and Father's Day. A recent study shows there is a father factor in nearly all of the social issues facing America today. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, 24 million children in America, 1 out of every 3, live in biological father-absent homes. 9 in 10 American parents agree this is a crisis. The study also found children who never had a father in the household experience the highest odds of facing incarceration. The research says drug and alcohol abuse, as well as suicide rates, are significantly higher among children who do not live with their mother and father. But the hope can lie in the fact that children with involved fathers do better across every measure of their well-being than their peers in father-absent homes. Researchers also found that father-child contact was associated with better socio-emotional and academic functioning. The results showed that children with more involved fathers experienced fewer behavioral problems and scored higher on reading achievement. This week, WCBI Sunrise featured the founder of the Father's Child Ministry in Columbus on our morning show, Mr. Edward Yates. While he was on the show, the Father's Challenge was issued. The idea? to spend at least an hour a day bonding with your kids. And as you just saw, several of our viewers sent photos of local dads doing what they do best, spending quality time with their kids. A special thanks to all the viewers who participated in the Father's Challenge. Be sure to join me next week. I'll be doing what I do best, counting down a new list of top stories of the week consisting of the most interesting headlines that caught our eye. We'll be right back after this.